one question that I love dealing with artists is it okay to be a corporate sellout? You've alluded to it, you've talked about it, but is it okay to sell out to the corporate world and not be the artiste? Is it okay to just work and get paid? Mind you, we both have kids.
Yeah.
And we have families. And we have to pay for
things. I feel like whatever way you answer this question, it has to be tongue-in-cheek. It's like, no, never sell out. Unless it's for loads of money. And then it's like, yeah, of course, we've all got to survive. So, I don't know, how do you answer that question? I mean...
I go with a big whopping...
Yes.
Yes.
I said yes.
Yeah. To me, it is, you sell out.
What do you mean by sell out, though, Justin? I don't... What is this, by taking a corporate gig rather than I'm just going to take pictures that I purely love taking about causes that I very care about, and I'm going to sell them as prints, and that only, or I'm only going to let them be published in a very select couple of publications that I agree with.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of that.
Being that there's no money left in publications, and you might squeeze 40 quid per image if you're lucky.
Yeah, I mean, when I got into this world, the only examples I saw of success were, oh wait, there weren't many. It was starving artist syndrome. It was the idea that I'm going to go and create the thing I want to create, and that works for some, not for all. But it's like, at the end of the day, you got to pay for food. You have to put a house.
Look, I mean, everyone's got to do what they got to do to, survive. I would say that holding on to whatever made you pick up a camera in the first place is really important, and it's not easy. I think, if you've been doing it, we all get a little bit burnt out, and maybe we've done one too many corporate sellout jobs, and you're kind of like, okay, and so you've got to find a way to try and keep it fresh, keep interested, keep kind of searching, I think. I don't know, I'm going through that process at the moment, if I'm honest, so it's like, how do you... I feel like
it's ever evolving.
And I think as well, clients want that, because everyone wants, they're going to want fresh imagery that's interesting. Nobody wants something stale. So
I think if you continue to do the same thing, you run the risk of burnout, and you run the risk of just being samey, and then you're not inspired about your own work. The joy of keeping it mixed up, do that corporate job, but then because you did that corporate job, you might have a little bit more financial freedom to then take on a couple other jobs. I don't
think doing that corporate job means it has to be boring and bland and
I don't either.
And not with your, as long as there's it sounds corny, as long as there's a bit of heart and soul in what you do, and you kind of, you work hard on the craft and try and engage with the story, I think then it doesn't have to be a sellout. I mean, yeah, all right, maybe if there's a cause you really don't, feels a bit like working for the devil, then obviously
that's a different story.
That's a different story, right?
Yeah. I guess for me, it's always been, as people have asked questions like, how do I get started in travel? How do I do this? And it's like, the real answer is you just have to go do it. You have to go do any job that you can get your hands on, whether it's a wedding, whether it's photographing pets, whether it's photographing for a local business. You have to build up a body of work, one. And in the travel space, you photograph everything. So you have to get good at photographing darn near everything. But the reason is, if you take on work that might not necessarily feed your soul at that stage, you have to build some sort of a financial base, so then you have the freedom to do whatever the heck you want. Sure. And the concept of selling out is, maybe it's not as much now because I'm older.
I think it can't be an either or. It's got to be both in answer to your question.
One of my favorite words. Yeah, both. I'll have both. Great.
Because obviously everything you just talked about, financial reasons, you've got to get working, you've got to get experience, you've got to build your network, you've got to get clients. No one wants to be a starving artist. Maybe some people do, I don't know.
I don't.
But at the same time, you kind of need your passion project. You need to stay involved in your process, and that is going to attract clients. I think your example of what you're working on with your Polaroid project, that's a passion project. No one's paying you to do that, But if you can go and have a conversation with a potential client about it, that's really exciting for them. That's probably your way into a lot of conversations.
Yeah, 100%.
So I think you've got to have both. You've got to have your little engine turning in the background of what's, who you are, what you want to say, what you want to do.
So my advice to any of them is, the answer is yes, it is okay to be a corporate sellout. And do anything and everything you can to build a foundation of whatever it is you want to be, whether it's films or photography. Don't turn your nose up at weddings. Don't turn your nose up at birthday parties. Don't turn your nose up at any of it if it's an opportunity to put money in your bank and keep you doing what you want to do. And it's our job as photographers to put in, build those passion projects into our lives, whether it's on a shoot or whether it's, wait a minute, it's not actually about the photograph in this situation. We're going to get the photograph, but it's about building the relationship with the client, and I'm telling the client's story. So whether it's pouring concrete or whether they're building wells, they have a story to tell, they're enthusiastic about it, and that's where you get the energy. It's not necessarily, do you wake up in the morning dreaming about how amazing this concrete pour is going to be? Yes, no, maybe so, but you're excited to see Bill on site and talk to Bill and chat with Bill and see his enthusiasm for pouring concrete. That's what gives me energy.